Hello, fellow freaks. Goth Mermaid Gamer here. Going to do a reaction, as you can see, I've already got it up, to SonicHaXD's, I guess it's kind of a review of the Chaos Reigns DLC. We're gonna, uh, have him overanalyze it for us. Because he always, as I've said before watching his videos, he brings up things, points out things that, like, I wouldn't even have thought of, or yeah, I like his reviews. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get this out of the way because this sucker is like an hour long. Here we go. Oh,
Get it? You know, random stuff because this is Chaos Reigns. Chaos. I'll show you the true meaning of chaos! Yo, what's up, guys?
oh,
SonicHaXD here, and welcome to the grandiose.
what does that say? Oh, this is Earth Realm, huh? I could get used to this. Oh, looks like one of these guys made it through. Wait, what? Oh.
Review of the Chaos Reigns update. It has been only 1 day since the Chaos Reigns update, so these is all really early impressions, but I feel like there's a lot of stuff that I can go through. This video is going to be segmented into two parts. I'm going to be talking about the Chaos Reigns free update part first, and then I'm going to talk about the Chaos Reigns expansion pack, the part where you pay for. I will timestamp the heck out of this video, so if you guys want to like skip to any part in the video in particular, you can go ahead and do that. I know 90% of you just want to hear me talk the story mode, so you can skip to that if you want to. Again, this is very early impressions, so I guarantee you I'm gonna miss out on talking about a lot of things. Regardless, I'm just gonna start talking about all the new stuff in this update. To start off, we're gonna talk about.
Oh, by the way, I noticed his little collection over here. He actually has a KK in a wheelchair.
In my opinion, the best thing that they added into this update, animalities. When they first announced animalities, I wasn't even entirely sure if I was going to be really into this. I'm like, okay, I get it. It's like, it's one of the last gimmicks that they haven't done yet, so they're finally going to bring this back. But holy moly, they went all out with this. Like, they actually committed to trying their best to make so many awesome, like, animalities. And I honestly don't think there were any stinkers. Like, I thought they were all pretty damn good. And some of the best ones are, like, exceptionally good. I really like Lee May's. I really like Shang Tsung's. Peacemaker's is freaking amazing. And, like,
Yeah.
Johnny Cage is, like, the best fatality, like, ever. Like, maybe, like, top 5 best fatality ever. It's literally cinema. And the best part, it's all free. This isn't like the Christmas fatalities and stuff like that where you pay $10. No. Free for.
Wait, you had to pay $10 for those fatality updates, like the holiday ones? What the hell?
Every single character, and you can use it right now. Awesome thing they added into the game. I have really no complaints. Later on in this video, I might not be really positive, but I have to say that this right here is just an amazing thing that they added, and I'm just super thankful for it. Next up, we have the stages. Now, technically speaking, this is stages because of the DLC story mode. However, even if you didn't buy the story mode, you get these stages for free. So that's why I'm putting into this segment. I think they're great. They're very chaotic-y. I'm not sure exactly how to compliment these sort of things. A bit repetitive. Out of all 4 new stages, they are really just like all the same type of like either greenish backgrounds and fog or nighttime and like galaxy background and stuff like that, which again, very cool, but like out of all 4 stages, they all do feel a little bit samey, but it's completely fine. I'm really happy to be having these stages in the game because a lot of the stages in Mortal Kombat 1 are very peaceful, naturistic, calm. So I'm glad to have some more gritty, more dark, more gothic-y stages added to the game, so that kind of adds variety. I'll probably go way more in-depth talking about these stages when I eventually make like bigger videos about this, but for now, all I've got to say is just they're great stages. Now I'm going to talk about something that I don't think enough people are talking about, and so I have to bring this up. The songs go fucking hard. Like, no, sit down, shut up and sit down. I'm gonna force you guys to listen to some of these new songs that they added to the stages.
Ooh, I like that. Hell yeah. Yeah. Oh, he's right. These are bangers.
See what I mean? Holy moly, what the heck? They went so hard on these songs. And not only do we have 4 new tracks for 4 new stages, they also remixed 2 songs. One for the Corrupted Forest, and the other is my favorite song in the entire game, the Wuxi Academy. They made a banger remix of it. Guys, I'm just saying, you know, I mean, sex is cool and all, but I mean, listening to the Wuxi Academy Sunset remix version, like, I'm just saying, all these new soundtracks and the remixes were created by Blues to Hill. I'm pretty sure I butchered that name, but man, I gotta say, thank you so much for providing, honestly, some of the best MK music we've ever had. I'm genuinely amazed at how hard these new songs go. Spread the word, guys. Even I didn't know how good these songs were, because I barely, like, paid attention to them while playing the story mode, but, like, holy moly, these are absolutely phenomenal. Okay, let's rein that back a bit and talk about some other things that they added into this update. Now I want to talk about the shrine that they added. Finally, there's actually some new stuff in the shrine. Before, you used to be able to get like a bunch of new like skin palettes and even like story mode skins in the shrine, but they really slowed down a couple seasons back that you could barely get any now. You know, it's very funny to think about this, but like the game's been out for like a year and there are still some skins from the story mode that are still not available. I'm pretty sure like the Shaolin uniform Raiden is not available. Pretty sure like Festive Johnny Cage isn't available. Kalima, they're still not available. I do not know why they're still locked, but okay, take your time, NRS, I guess. But in this new update, they actually did add some pretty cool things. Now, there's a lot of really stupid new banners that we don't care about. Except for this reptile one, I'm going to be using that for sure. But the new thing that you can get in this are new cameo brutalities. Every single cameo fighter has a new brutality, and you can get them all in the shrine, which is pretty cool. I will say the new brutalities are kind of they're kind of basic. I'm not really like blown away by like 80% of them really. Like they're just kind of like, okay, that's a punch and the body flies off. Yeah, again, it's just more ways to perform brutalities, so it's still a nice addition. With that in mind though, there are 2 brutalities in particular that I do want to talk about. Number 1 is the Tremor brutality. Now, Tremor will basically burn the opponent's like chest off, and that's his new brutality. However, I did notice something kind of interesting. I think like, at least from what I noticed for every like male character in the game, before they get like burnt off, you will actually be able to like see for like 1 frame, like their bare chest, like just their pecs laid bare, just boop, right there. For like 1 frame, you will get like this like juicy shot.
Hello.
I don't know, I just thought that was pretty funny. And the second thing is, okay, this brutality was genuinely so funny to me. The way you get it is you need to be on very low health, and you need to have Farah come up to your character and perform Pain and Gain. And then you need her to perform like Pain and Gain until your character dies. And then she will kill your own character. That'll count as a brutality. That is so funny. I actually really love that one. I think that's like, no one's gonna ever use it, but the fact that that's in the game, like as a pseudo harakiri, is amazing. So yeah, overall, pretty basic, but hey, free brutalities, so I'm not gonna be complaining. However, on the other side of the spectrum, we have also gotten 2 new brutalities for every single character in the game. The way you unlock these brutalities is that they're going to be in the seasonal shops like forever. So if you have any additional seasonal coins, you don't want to just buy the pallets, you can spend them on these new brutalities. And I gotta say, compared to the cameo fighters that I just mentioned, these brutalities, way more clever, way more fun. I saw a couple of them online currently, and like, for the most part, I'm pretty happy with them. I'm happy with the one that I got for Reptile too. They are quite expensive, so it's actually not the easiest to like go ahead and unlock every single brutality. Like I played through Invasions mode, so I got enough seasonal coins to at least unlock like reptiles. Also, you gotta keep in mind that you're either unlocking these seasonal brutalities or you're trying to unlock these seasonal palettes, which those are limited, but the brutalities are not. So it's a bit of like a pick or choose situation here. But overall, I really do think these character brutalities are actually like a lot more fun and a lot more creative compared to the cameo ones. Now it's time to move on to Invasions mode. So a year ago, I talked about invasion mode just for a little bit, and if you guys follow the Combat Kings podcast, me and the Force Snake have a real passion of going through every nitty detail in invasions mode and talking it because we think it sucks. But I will say this though, after an entire year, invasions mode is better. Like, they make small changes to improve the entire game mode as like each season goes on, to the point where
Better
now
question mark?
I would actually recommend playing Invasions mode just because it got a lot easier. Previously, when I played Invasion Season, I felt like I had to spend about like 8 hours in order to complete it. However, now that they made it like so much easier, you can skip like almost half the entire map like all the time. You can basically finish it within like 3 to 4 hours. Like, I just spent like an entire day and just boom, I'm done. It's only been 24 hours since the update as of the time I'm recording this, and I've already finished Invasions mode. It's way easier. So for that reason, I would recommend Invasions more. And for the fun part of it, that's up to debate. Some other cool things they added into this Invasions mode, I will say, are they added this new thing called the arcade, and basically it's like an arcade beat 'em up kind of like game mode. It's kind of like the Street Fighter beat the car up kind of game mode, except something that I find pretty cool about this game mode is that you beat the arcade machine and like money will fly out. And this currency that flies out is actually in-game currency that you're collecting. And so it really incentivizes the player to be like, oh, I gotta try my best to get a good score here. Because you only get one shot per mesa, and you want to try your best to get like the best score possible so that you can get the most money as possible. That, I think, is actually kind of a cool thing that they added. Other than that, there's the Liu Kang boss, who's got a lot of fancy, like, Toho, like, isk, like, attacks. They added the bicycle kicks for Liu Kang.
Yeah!
So I guess I can talk a little bit about the story. Nobody really cares. One thing I did find that was kind of cool is that there was this one part in the cutscenes where it showcases like a montage of Liu Kang like beating up a bunch of people, and these characters are wearing like the classic skins. So
yeah,
maybe they're hinting at these skins coming into the game or something. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of cool that there was MK2 Shang Tsung and MK9 Genji. I'm just saying. Yeah, overall, I would recommend Invasions mode specifically because it's a lot easier. You know, a year ago it's just bullshit and just trying to get through it, but now it's genuinely just easy to get through it. And also because you can get seasonal points. I just played through Invasions mode and then I got to unlock like everything for Reptile basically. Although I do wonder if playing online mode you get a lot of seasonal coins anyways. I'm not entirely sure. I think you just get more in Invasions mode. That's why I'd recommend it at least for this season, just because you can unlock the new fatalities. So I think you guys might want that. Next up, I want to talk about the new mode that they added, Towers of Time. The thing that people kept saying like they'd rather have that because it was an MK11, so now it's back. Again, I never really played that in MK11, so I'm not sure how it would compare. But there are a couple things to mention here that I find interesting. There are 3 towers in the front that's like front and center that's like being showcased to you. There's the arcade tower, there's the seasonal tower, which you get seasonal pallets if you want to farm through that, which that's still there. But the one that I find very interesting is like the gacha machine they put there. So there's this one tower that you can pay 2,500 coins to, which is dirt cheap. And if you play through the tower, which is just 5 fights, you will get a random pallet from a previous season.
Players will unlock unobtainable pallets from previous seasons of Invasions.
Here's me playing through it 4 times, and I got really lucky because I got 4 General Shao pallets from this, for the same skin, by the way. Cool, I guess. I didn't really experiment with this a lot, but I do find this gacha machine to be kind of interesting. Then there's also the new...
Am I the only one that really doesn't like it when they have stuff you can earn, but for a limited time, and if you don't get it then, it's gone forever? I don't know, maybe it's their way of incentivizing people to play these extra modes, but I just don't like that. Give me, like, other ways to unlock this stuff, because I'm not really somebody who does a lot of, like, online competitive, you know, gaming like that. Or whatever, I don't know. I can't be the only one that feels that way.
Challenges they added, you gotta get points in these towers to compete with people around the world and stuff. And depending on how many points you get will determine on the rewards you can get. So if you're in the top 75% of player bases, you get like a rating gear. And the best thing you get is to be on the top 5% for like a Melina palette. Cool, I guess? I'm not gonna really care about this unless it's like there's like a reptile palette or something. But it's interesting. And the way you get points is you complete some missions, which basically are just just like doing conditions while playing the towers. And yes, these missions can only be done in towers at a time. You can't do them in invasions or story mode or like online practice. You can only do these missions in towers at a time to get the points. They're very easy. They range from just do 15 sweeps, do 15 uppercuts, do 2 fatalities and stuff like that. But the one I want to talk about are the weekly challenges, because by completing the weekly challenge, you get a bunch of points for the ranking if you care about that. But the thing I care about more is you get dragon crystals. Up to this point, there's always been only a finite of dragon crystals you can get in the game before that's it, and you can just never get any more new dragon crystals. But now that they added the towers of time, you can get 75 dragon crystals every week, which I think is great. I think if there's a way you can get currency that costs real life money, but you can get them in the game somehow. I'm sure if that worded that correctly. Let me put this in a more easier term for those Zoomers out there. A free way to get V-Bucks. So I am happy to see this, and the challenges aren't too hard. A little tedious, but like for my challenges, it's to perform 30 cameo fatalities. So I just played through a lot of the legacy towers to get a bunch of gachas, and then eventually I also got this weekly challenge done. So it wasn't too bad, just a bit tedious in terms of time. Personally, I just wanted to mention the towers of time mainly just because it's a free way to get dragon crystals, and I find that to be cool. And that's about all I got to talk about with the update. I didn't mention the online practice mode, the warrior shrine, and like the gameplay changes. It's because I didn't really go through all that stuff. You guys should not be coming to me for gameplay opinions. The game's been out for an entire year, and I'm pretty sure I haven't touched like half the roster still. Oh shoot! Shoot!
Uh-oh. What happened?
My camera! Ah! Many characters got changes and cameo
dear,
fighters got
something
new moves
disconnected.
too, but like they didn't add anything for Reptower or Mavados, so I don't care really. There is a lot of changes though, and I
They didn't
recommend
do
you to go
anything
look
for
up the
my
changes if you're
fave,
interested
so
in
I
that,
don't
but
care.
I didn't really go through that. But overall, I find the free part of this update to be very great. I think there's a lot of new things in the game. If you haven't played the game in a while, and if you want to check out some new stuff with the gameplay changes, I think there's a lot you can come back to. If you want some new free stuff, free fatalities, animalities, and even check out on Invasions mode or Tower of Times, I think there's a lot of new things that you can come back to. But now for the things that I think I need to be a bit more strict on, because I paid money on this stuff. Now we're going to talk about the Chaos Reigns DLC part of this update. So starting off with the new characters. Just like what I said about the gameplay part in the last segment, I don't think I'm really qualified to talk about this. I barely played Sector Cyrax and Noob Saibot. They're cool. I gravitate toward Noob Saibot the most because his moves look the coolest. You know, I am not the best person to be talking about this, so I recommend you to go look them on the channel. There's tons of gameplay of them right there, tons of guides, so just look up those. Now, there's actually one thing I do want to mention about this DLC that I think this is something that NRS really failed to mention or market this well. So the DLC pricing is super expensive. Like, it's so expensive to the point where I wouldn't recommend people to buy it. It's more expensive than the Elden Ring DLC. It's more expensive than Black Myth Wukong. In the marketing, all you get is the story expansion and 6 characters. Is that really worth $50? That's what I thought at first. But there's one thing they do not tell you in the marketing or even on the Steam page when you buy it. By completing the story mode, you unlock 12 new skins. 12 new skins that you can only get if you play through Chaos Reigns. And nowhere do they ever say this. So, which I find very weird. It's like that...
Oh, so you can unlock Empress Tanya. I loved that look. I think I mentioned it in my Chaos Reigns reaction that I loved that look, and I hope it was a skin you could get. But apparently, I have to play Chaos Reigns.
That seems like something you want to be marketing, like, oh, if you buy the DLC, 6 characters, a story expansion, and 12 new skins, and a couple of palettes. That sounds like something else you should add on to the marketing of it. I do not know why they're not talking about this. I guess maybe they want it to be as a surprise and stuff. I don't know. But with that being said, though, like, the 12 new skins, they range from either, okay, to, oh, that looks kind of cool. I do like, actually, a couple of these new skins that they added, you know, more specifically, Li Mei Tanya Rain. Oh, what? This thing kind of blows my mind, I find really annoying. After I played through the story mode, I was very disappointed not to be able to unlock Titan Havoc, because it's like, come on, that's the whole entire expansion, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, I want to get Titan Havoc, you know, I want to play as him. But then I found out that you're supposed to go into the notifications, and that's where you can find and receive Titan Havoc.
Huh?
Why? I didn't need to do that for any of the other 11 skins, like, but for Titan Havoc, the most important one? Okay, NRS. You do you go, girl. I still think the DLC is very expensive, But I will admit, if you are interested in certain skins that they added into the game that you can only access through the DLC, that might be a bit enticing, I will admit. Alright, enough beating around the bush. Let's finally talk about why y'all are here. Y'all are here just to hear me talk the story mode. I know. Spoilers, by the way. I feel like I need to get into spoilers if I can really like articulate my opinions about this. Let me start off by saying this. Even after an entire day has passed, I still find it very hard to articulate. I still find it hard to articulate my opinions about this story mode. Like, this was my reaction. I have no idea how to explain what I just went through. But I can tell you this, though. I was contemplating whether I thought this was mid or bad. I was just laying there thinking, like, was that shit? Because I wasn't sure. Okay, look, let me just slowly go through how I felt about the story mode in general. But also worth mentioning is in between part 1 and 2, there is also the arcade endings that happen. So, this isn't really important. I just felt like that entire rant was pointless. It's so hard. This is so hard to talk about. Oh, fuck it. Like, this is way too hard to talk about. This is gonna be very unorganized. I can't. I feel like I'm trying my best to talk about this story mode in a very organized sense, but I don't think I can. So I'm just gonna start going through bullet points here. Sector and Cyrex. Yeah, let's go through that. Now, I find Sector and Cyrex to be, like, alright characters. Like Cyrex is this character who's trying to do good and prove herself after making a critical mistake with trusting the Lin Kuei. And Sector is still, like, a bad guy, but in this case, because she wants to, you know, save Bihan, so she's reluctantly working with the good guys in this story mode. I find them to be, like, alright characters. I think one thing that I have, like, my biggest issue with Cyrex is just that how constantly she has to be belittled by the people around her. It's like, okay, once or twice I get it, but it's like, it's just throughout the entire story mode. It's just like, you've done bad things, Cyrex. I hope you remember that. I hope you do know that, by the way, Cyrex. Okay, actually, the reason for the belittling, the source of the belittling is, in my opinion, super fucking annoying, but we'll get to that later on. I hope you like Sector and Cyrex. I hope they are great characters for you guys, because that's about the entire story mode. This is their story mode. Like, straight up, Sector and Cyrex are the face of this story mode. So I hope you're gonna enjoy seeing them for the next 2 hours. Which I find to be kind of an interesting to do, is just to make, like, a main character and do, like, a plot with them. And then have a couple other characters come in and out throughout the story, but the main focus really just being Sector and Cyrex, interestingly. Funny enough, now I think about it, I wonder how OG Sector and Cyrex fans feel about this scenario. It's like, man, Sector and Cyrex have always just been left to the waistline, just as complete side characters, and now we get to see them front and center for the next 2 hours. It's just them.
Oh, I already know half of them are pissing themselves in pathetic dude bro anger that how dare they make them female, as if their gender ever had anything to do with their character to begin with. Ugh. I mean, there's so much unwanted hate lobbed towards them simply because they made them girls this time. And it's like, oh my god, grow up. Like I said, their genders never really had anything important to do with their characters ever, so it doesn't matter. Grow up, people.
And they're gender bent, not robot characters. I'm really curious how you guys feel about that. Watching the story expansion and looking at Sector and Cyrex, it really just feels like completely different characters. In the original timeline, Sector and Cyrex were just robots, mindless slaves. While Sector embraces it, Cyrex escapes it and finds his own destiny. And that's always been their plots. And we only got to see a little bit of humanity with these characters in the beginning of MK9. But other than that, like, they've just been shafted, they've just been, like, thrown to the waistline, they're just, like, these complete, like, background characters. So to see them come back front and center, having an entire expansion dedicated to them, and they are gender bent and they're not robots, and Cyrex's arc is struggling to get the shit out of Ayu's trust, while Sector's arc is about getting that Bihan D. I'm very interested in how like OG Sector Cyrix fans feel. Because to me, I look at these characters and I genuinely don't see the same person. I guess I'll talk about the two major things about like the changes. One is the power suit. Turning the robots into power suits is like a fine, it's fine if you want to do that. In fact, it seems like they're hinting at that the next game they're gonna turn to robots. But that is one of the core things about these characters, is the fact that the tragedy of becoming a cyborg. But that part isn't in this expansion, like, at all. Like, it's just the power suit is just pretty much their ability. So they have to have completely different arcs. Then there's
Well, hang on.
the power suit is just pretty much their ability. So they have to have completely different.
This isn't necessarily a bad thing, just an interesting way to compare with the original characters, kind of like a Midway Reptile and MK1 size off.
Arcs. Then there's the matter of the gender bending part. Now, I'm gonna say this first and foremost. There are so many people online that I have seen before the story expansion came out. I have seen so many people say that the gender bending aspect of these characters won't affect them. Like, it's not going to affect these characters. And to that I say, bullshit! I knew for a fact that it's going to matter. It would not have mattered if they were cyborgs, I'll be honest with you. Or maybe it would have. Maybe it would have been like a Frost thing, where it's like the male cyborgs look like robots and Frost still gets to keep her pretty face and hair. And guess what happens in the story mode? Johnny Cage flirting with both of these pretty ladies. Hey, hey, ooh, looking nice girl, haha. I wonder if he would do it if they were males. And then there's the other aspect.
He should have, because that boy is as bi as the day is long. Come on, NRS. You know it. We know it. He flirts with everybody.
Which I will get to later on, which I thought was extremely funny that happened with Sector. But the point is, their genders do matter to this character. Like, this change actually does matter to the characters. So all those people saying the gender bending is not going to matter, cope, because it doesn't matter in the end. With that being said, though, I feel like I would prefer them to be male. I'm not going to be here saying, like, oh, this is the worst thing that's ever happened. This is, like, the second worst thing since Chronica. But this is, like, a new universe, so if...
Okay, question, though. Was there anything other than that flirt scene that made their genders have an, matter or whatever? Because that's honestly the only thing I can think of. For the rest of it, I didn't really see anything that had to do with their genders.
If you want to do this, like, go ahead, fine. I will personally say, like, I do prefer them to be male, but it's just, like, whatever. Next up on my bullet point is Lin Kuei conflict. I haven't released a video about me talking about Chapter 9 with, like, Sub-Zero and Scorpion, but in that chapter, I basically end off by saying I don't really have much of an opinion about, like, Scorpion, because he just seems fine, but I really feel like I need more development with this character to know, like, how I feel about this guy. And I kind of wish that there was more development of, like, Scorpion, the Shirarayu, the Lin Kuei. And I got it in this DLC! And boy, do I regret my wish! First of all, Bihan front and center coming back, basically being like a fucking asshole villain in this entire story expansion. But he actually does care about his realm, so he's still willing to, put aside his differences to help out the situation. That's the beginning half of, like, Sector and Bihan's, like, part of the story. Then we get the Scorpion's part of the story. Okay, in Mortal Kombat 1, I think Scorpion was fine. I think he was just, like, a little undercooked. He's just, like, goody two-shoe, like, normal person, like, whatever.
Yeah.
That's his character. But in this expansion, okay, throughout this entire year, if you go onto MK Twitter, you'll have a field day with just so many people being Bihan stans, Hanzo stans, and Kuai Liang hater stans. There's so many of that on my timeline that I just constantly see. It mainly stems from the fact that Hanzo is, like, not Scorpion anymore, and that Kuai Liang is marrying Hanzo's wife, and yada yada, all that kind of stuff. I get it if you hate him for that aspect, I'm like, okay, sure, but I kind of want to still see what they do with this Kuai Liang in the story mode. After this story mode, holy shit, I fucking hate Kuai Liang. Like, this guy is miserable. I don't like this character anymore. Like, this. Okay, one of the biggest reasons why Cyrix attacked at the wedding is because she thought Kuai Liang betrayed the Lin Kuei. And then Kuai Liang is like, no, actually, you were lied to this whole time. But did you want to know why Cyrix was lied to by Sub-Zero this whole time? It's because Kuai Liang, and Tomas to some extent, presumed that the Lin Kuei was 100% evil, and they were not redeemed, and there was no way that they were going to be able to help against the fight with Titan Shang Tsung.
Guess the Lin Kuei won't aid us, his son.
And then Kwai is like, no, actually, you were lied to this whole time. But did you want to know why Cyrax was lied to by Sub-Zero
Okay, what the heck? Why did it just skip back like that?
this whole time? Presumed that the Lin Kuei was 100%
I didn't touch anything. I don't know why
and they were not redeemed,
skipped back
and
like
there was
that.
no way that they were going to be able to help against the fight with Titan Shang Tsung.
That the Lin Kuei won't aid us is unforgivable. Bihan has corrupted them totally. When this crisis ends, we will deal with that one.
When in reality, Bihan didn't even know about Titan Shang Tsung.
I can't trust Lin Kuei. You were complicit in...
Bihan knew nothing of Titan Shang Tsung.
And for over like however long Mortal Kombat 1 to Chaos Reigns has been, I feel like maybe at least like around a year, he never even attempted to like contact anyone in the Lin Kuei to be like guys, Bihan's an asshole and this is what actually happened. No, he's like, Bihan, their loyalty to Bihan is absolute, so there's no way we can change them anymore. So when Cyrax shows up and finds out, oh my gosh, I've been lied to by Bihan this whole time. Yeah, of course, I think it's very understandable for her actions in this case. And what does Kwai Lien be like? Oh, you were so gullible, Cyrax. You think me, the evil guy, the guy who left you on red for an entire year? And then throughout this whole entire story mode, it's like there's even like parts where Cyrax is like, I'm just saying, Scorpion, you left me in the dark. I knew nothing about what happened. You know, that's why I was like gullible. I was manipulated by like Bihan, who knew to trick me into this sort of thing. Like, I'm just saying, you guys never told me anything. And then Scorpion is like, is that what this is? Are you blaming me? Are you blaming me for your treachery? Huh?
Me for your actions? Is that what you are saying?
Honestly, Cyrax has like the biggest mature heart in this entire situation, where she's trying her best to redeem herself. She's trying to be like, I'm human. I'm not machine. I am human. I'm trying to make up for my mistakes. And Kwai Lien is there, is like, I am perfect. I have nothing wrong with me. I'm absolutely like fucking perfect, flawless little bitch bass boy. Gosh, I hate fucking Kwai Lien now. And then also,
yeah, I agree. I think looking back, thinking about it, they did make him a bit too like bitter and miserable in this DLC.
people have to like come up to him and be like, I know you hate your brother, and I know your brother wants to kill you, but like, come on now, you know, maybe show some compassion, show some remorse, and maybe caring for your brother. And I don't know, I feel like Kwai Lien just wanted to kill Bihan as many times as he could, but Sector had to be like stopping Kwai Lien to be like, we gotta care for him, okay? Like, come on. And okay, look, I'm gonna mention this. I know, technically speaking, Kwai Lien has every right to be angry because he was attacked at his own wedding. Yes, that is bad. He has every right to be angry at Cyrax. He has every right to want to kill Bihan. Sure, fine. That still makes him a miserable character. That's still, like, I feel like this is the type of thing where it's like, the good and humanity should be showing a bit, you know? Like, I kind of wish we get to see, like, some remorse to Kwai Lien being like, maybe I shouldn't have just disowned the Lin Kuei this much, you know? Maybe I should have thought of Cyrax, which, by the way, thanks to Ninja Dialogue, it's implied that they were exes. Like, maybe some compassion here. Nope, you're just like, it's not my fault, okay? I'm perfect boy. Harumi was the one that was trying to like get me to bond with you again, you know? Harumi, I wanted to kill you, Cyrax. I was about to pull my katana and behead you, okay? Like, yeah, I'm perfect. I'm awesome. Fuck Scorpion in this timeline. Holy shit.
Damn,
I guess that
dude.
was one of my biggest problems with this DLC story. Yeah. Next part of this bullet point, I have the multiverse part. Now, again, I'm kind of like jumping around this story mode because I'm just talking about whatever I can think of. There was one part that I did also find very funny, that was how our tag-along gang of people who are set off to go ahead and save Geras, you know, the guy who is, why am I put into this situation, face guy, has been captured, and they have to find a team of people to go save Geras. And who do they find? Sector and Cyrax. And as Liu Kang said, this is their specialty, stealth rescue missions.
He and Cyrax are trained for this type of mission.
I find that to be very funny because I feel like there are many other characters you could have chosen for this job. You could have sent Kenshi Kunla Johnny Cage again, which you sent out to try to retrieve Shang Tsung. You could have sent maybe Saizaw, you know, he's got invisibilities. Isn't Kenshi like working with Jax in like a secret service like agency? I feel like you could have sent them too and stuff. stuff. But no, it has to be Sector and Cyrax because this is their specialty. They will be able to get the job done. Like, they are the ones. And also Scorpion, because we need someone to like monitor them. Even though Scorpion is also like a Lin Kuei assassin himself. But no, he's only there to monitor them. Like, he's not proficient with the job. We need the power suit ladies. Now that's their professionality to be able to find Geras. And then the first thing that happens when they go into Titan Havoc's timeline is just straight up like they go into like a crowd of people and like, how are we supposed to find Geras? Okay, that's your specialty. Like, they specifically said you two, and now you're in the crowd of people like just be like, how are we gonna find them? Oh, and guess how they find Geras? They luckily bump into people to then luckily get into more information to then luckily get to Geras. Yes, they're so good at their job. It's their specialty. Look, I get it. They just need an excuse to get.
Yeah, it was just an excuse. We have to send them because they are the DLC characters and they needed to be showcased.
Sector and Cyrax, their own story expansion. I get it. That's the main reason why they're sent onto this mission. I just find their reasoning to be very funny. Like, yes, they're very good at detective work. They're so good that they bump into the resistance group, so they happen to get pointed into the right direction. Speaking of the resistance group, I'm actually talking the story mode a lot, but let me talk about some things I actually do kind of like. The resistance group in Titan Havoc's like timeline are like characters who are pulled from other timelines and other like multiverses, pulled from their world and thrown into Titan Havoc's timeline. So you got like World War II like Johnny Cage, and then you have like Emperor Rain and Empress Tanya. And I think that's a really cool idea, kidnapping other multiverse characters and throwing them into Titan Havoc's like timeline. I personally wish there was more, wish just like 5 different universes of like interesting characters and like depictions. But hey, you know, get what you can take, I guess. I don't really have much to say about World War II Johnny. Like, I thought there was going to be a chapter where you get to play as him, but there wasn't. So he just kind of was there as comic relief and a cameo fighter. There's this thing that kind of pisses me off. If you look in the concept art of Chaos Reigns, there's this one scene where we get the part where Johnny Cage fights the Titan Havoc's little minions. You can see in that concept art that there is this blonde soldier lady with Johnny Cage.
Sonya?
I wonder who that was supposed to be. I wonder if this would have been one of our first chances to look at Sonya or something like that. Too bad. Now on to Emperor Rain and Empress Tanya. I gotta be honest. They're my favorite part of the story mode. I'm not even kidding. These two characters were like the most interesting part of this entire story mode. It's like, oh, they have cool personalities. They have cool backstories. They have a whole entire kingdom that got completely ruined because Titan Havoc merged their realms into his realm, and these two have good chemistry with each other. And I found Emperor Rain to be pretty cool. That part where he like fights in the Colosseum and he says, "Come down, Havoc.
Come down here, Havoc. We are waiting."
I was just like, oh, that's just good voice acting right there. Like, I actually like that part. They even have like rivalries with like their Emperor Reiko and Empress Li Mei, who by the way have some killer costumes, by the way. Really like their costumes. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool where you get to see these different multiverse versions of characters. And even though it was a very short period, I did like what I saw in this game. In fact, even though they were only on screen for a very short moment of time, like, I did feel sad for the scene where Emperor Rain died. I was actually like, I felt sad.
I wanted to cry.
Like, even though he only showed up for a little bit, I actually felt like emotional and sad when he died. And then they also decided to give Empress Tanya the most cinematic scene in this entire like story mode. By the way, the dragon that shows up, Orin, is actually a very minor character who shows up in Mortal Kombat Armageddon, and she's Gender Meant to. I'm just saying, no big deal, no big deal, no big deal at all. But I'm just saying she got gender bent too. And I find it very funny how much interesting backstories they gave these like multiverse characters, like Empress Tanya. She apparently can communicate with like the dragons. She gets like all these great scenes throughout this expansion. I like this Tanya. But a part of me is also like, should I care about this Tanya? Like, is NRS gonna care about this Tanya? Are they ever gonna do anything with this Tanya in the future?
Good question.
Or is she just gonna be forgotten and nobody cares about her ever again? I don't know. Like, my brother likes his Tanya too, and he's like kind of being like, well, I mean, they're in the main universe now with Johnny Cage, you know, maybe they're gonna stick around, maybe they're gonna hang out in Mortal Kombat 1's version of the universe, you know, I don't know, cope. I just find it very interesting that they gave all this development to this new multiverse version of Tanya, when there's still the base universe version of Tanya, and she's still boring as shit. But they gave all this development to this new version of Tanya, who knows if she's gonna be developed more in the future or not, but I just find it to be very funny. Next up, I wrote here, Noob Saiba going crazy at the end. Okay, sure. They retrieve Geras, and they retrieve, like, Noob Saiba at the Citadel of Havoc, back to Earthrealm. And the first thing that happens in that scene, and this got a huge reaction out of me. Liu Kang cured Noob Saiba. He reverts, like, Bihan's, like, mind control part, but he wasn't able to revert Noob Saiba back to, like, Sub-Zero. I find it kind of interesting that now Noob Saiba in this universe is just Bihan, not mind controlled. But he still, like, has, like, the dark magical powers and stuff like that. But he's still Bihan now. And I do find that to be kind of interesting. Like, okay, this isn't like a mind-controlled, like, Noob Saiba situation. Like, this actually is just Bihan, and he's got new powers now. And he's got charcoal skin. But the thing that got, like, a super reaction out of me was when Bihan and Sector bumped heads. Ah! Ah! Ah!
Serena fans are crying now.
Guys, don't worry. Sector's gender bending is not going to matter in the story whatsoever. It's not going to matter for a character absolutely whatsoever.
Well, see, now, I disagree only because, I don't know. I don't even know if NRS would be, brave enough to do this. Even though they've already pretty much, you know, Tanya and Melina are canon. But as far as like a male-male romance, are NRS brave enough for that? Because I was gonna say, well, maybe it doesn't matter because, just because she's a girl doesn't mean, oh, now we can ship them. You know, you can ship them if they're both men too, but it's like, I don't know if NRS would be brave enough for that. I don't know, that's just the way I see it.
Womp womp. I saw people on Twitter being like, Dominic Chanchola gender bent Sector so that she can date Bihan. And that pissed off so many people. OG Bihan fans are like, my Serena Bihan shit! Ah! There's like this fan art I saw that someone drew of Bihan and Sector doing like the headbutt, but instead of Sector, it's Serena!
Aww.
Oh, I knew for a fact that it's like people are gonna have a field day with this. I saw this one tweet of someone basically being like, I'm gonna draw a male Sector doing this with Bihan now.
Yes. See? Yeah, see? But I don't know if NRS are brave enough to do that.
It shouldn't be an issue, right? And actually, I really think it's funny to really think about this in the future. 10 years from now, when they inevitably revert the universe again, because they're going to do that 100%, is male Sector and Bihan going to be a thing? Like, are they gonna do that because they were a thing when Sector is a woman in this other timeline? So are they gonna make it be a thing in the future? Are they gonna do that? I don't know. Now that NRS has done this, they're gonna have to try and commit to this Bihan X Sector ship now. Actually, I do find it to be kind of funny how many like ships, like I have no idea what's up with all these like the shipping things that are going on in like this expansion. We've got, you know, Scorpion and Harumi's wedding. We've got like Sector and Bihan. We have apparently, because of intro dialogue, Cyrex and Scorpion used to be a thing apparently. And then Tanya and Rain. I am not too sure what is up with NetherRealm and all these romances going on. It's like I remember seeing some people be like, you know, if your favorite character in Mortal Kombat is still single, congratulations to them. And then the example I saw was like Smoke. Man, Smoke really got shafted. Smoke had zero reason not to be in the expansion. We need professional, like, ninja characters, assassins, to go save and rescue Geras. That's why we're sending Scorpion. What about Smoke? Smoke doesn't even show up for the freaking ending fight too. Why? What was he busy with? I don't understand.
Yeah, that's true. He wasn't in the ending,
too
was he?
expensive to pay for or something? Anyways, I'm getting off track. By the end of the story mode, Titan Havoc comes over to invade Liu Kang's like timeline and brings all his like warriors over. And here you get to play as like Noob Saibot and use his like crazy new abilities to like fight against them. This part got me to laugh like so hard when Noob Saibot is like fighting like other fighters, and like just as you're about to like play as him, he walks back to Kuai Liang, pushes him, and is like, if we lose, this is gonna be all your fault, Kuai Liang.
If we lose, it will be due to your...
I'll
do
put
you
you.
have time? I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so fucking funny that happens in the middle while they're fighting. It's so hilarious. I didn't really even talk about Bihan's character.
They're
I
still
find it very funny
bickering
how
like
many
brothers.
people love Bihan and want Bihan to be like a better character in this expansion, because again, Bihan returning as Sub-Zero in Mortal Kombat 1 is a dream come true for so many people. And the fact that NRS is like, okay, Bihan's back, we're gonna make him the biggest asshole, the biggest villain, and all the fans are like, no, 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 please, we don't want that, we don't want that. Yeah, we're gonna fucking make him evil, baby. So it's so funny to see them really double down with asshole Noob Saibot at the very end, beating the crap out of everyone and treating all his allies rudely. But I did find this one part to be extremely funny, is when he was fighting the... Oh, I completely forgot to mention this. 80% of all of Titan Havoc's like villains, little minions, are all the Season of Melina palette like characters. It's so funny to be like, everyone was like the ugly ass season palettes from Season of Melina. People are like complaining, be like, this shit is ass. It's ugly as fuck. What the hell are you doing, NRS? Get this shit off my screen. And finally, like after that season, then we go to the season of Raiden. It's like, okay, whatever. That happened. Then we go to this story expansion and all these ugly ass palettes are just plastered all over the fucking screen. It's poetry, honestly. It's so fucking funny to me. I find that to be hilarious. I don't know what else to say. I just think that was really funny. But yeah, so after like Noob Saibot and Kuai Liang defeat the alternate universe version of Scorpion and Sub-Zero, Noob Saibot then is like, now I'm gonna execute them. And I think like Kuai Liang or Liu Kang was like, no, don't kill them. Killing is bad. We have Marvel audiences. We need to explain why killing is bad. And he like executes them, and Liu Kang's like, we could have asked him for information. Okay, one, literally as you're saying that, like, your friends are in the background still beating the shit out of Titan Havoc's other minions. You wanna question them? Question those fuckers! 2, 10 minutes later, Liu Kang, like, fights other minions and he just, like, uses, like, this gigantic AoE fire ability, burns all of them up. You could've questioned them for some shit, too! You could've asked them questions. But no, it's okay when you kill, but when Noob Saibot kills, oh shit! Oh, that's too dark, guys. We gotta tell the audience, like, oh, with our little childish Marvel brains, oh, why killing is bad here all of a sudden. Oh! That's one issue I have with this entire story mode, is the fact, I knew this was gonna be an issue even going in.
Yeah,
none
there's
of the
some
enemies
kind
you
of
fight are gonna fucking matter.
inconsistent
Because
writing,
they're
isn't there?
multiverse versions of them. It's like, oh, you're fighting multiverse, evil, chaotic, Urbag. Oh, you're fighting Baraka. Oh, you're fighting Raiden. Oh, who cares? Nobody cares. There's no heart in these battles. That's why I like Mortal Kombat 1, the first, like, 12 chapters of it, because the fights you have there are between characters that have like bond between each other or like have rivalry with each other, so there's actually like things to care about. But when it's multiverse villains, then you don't care. There's no heart. There's no like care in this. With that all being said, though, I actually did find the Evil Kenshi and Takeda to be interesting. I kind of like the fact that
they were the only ones that were given any
story
time.
And he kind of felt like an important character because he's kind of like his like tech guy basically. He has like his wireless telephone, like telepath. I thought there was one scene where Titan Hab is like, warn the Citadel that they're coming. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey babe, how you doing, Noob Saibot? Oh no, I'm kind of free, no nothing. Oh, just a heads up, you're gonna get ambushed by a bunch of stupids. Yeah. And I'm so happy that Takeda in their universe is actually Kenshi's son. It's a father-son dynamic. It's a normal family dynamic. I like that. I like that compared to the main universe, or the cousins. Now we get to the grand finale, the final epic battle, which has all these characters show up in a we are Mortal Kombat ass pose. I screamed and shouted when I saw a reptile in the background, even though Ashra and Syzoth both just don't get any lines, they just show up at the end of the fight. And again, like, Smoke isn't there. And actually, I don't know why a lot of characters weren't there. A lot of Outworld characters weren't there, but Smoke wasn't there, but yet Syzoth and Ashra, who one's an Outworlder, one's from Netherrealm, they show up. Okay. Not complaining about those two, I'm just saying, I just find it really funny. And then we get the final battle, which is against Titan Havoc. Now, I will say I appreciate Titan Havoc having different moves, like actually having some boss move sets. That was one of my complaints about like Titan Shang Tsung and Titan Quan Chi fight in the ending of Mortal Kombat 1 and even in arcade modes is they actually did add some new things with Titan Havoc. He's got like a Kamehameha like blaster and stuff, which is kind of cool. You defeat him as Noob Saibot, and I'm like, okay, that was cute. Okay, that was phase 1, right? All right, let's get into phase 2. No, he's done. You defeated him.
Oh.
That's the ending of the story. I was like, huh? I was kind of flabbergasted when I found out like that was it. Like we're done. Like we won the game. It felt like the entire game just like missed a chapter or two. Some exposition, some like ultimate threat with like Titan Havoc as a character in general. But nope. That's it. You won. GG's. Titan Havoc didn't get to do shit. And you did it. Yeah, that's actually one thing that I found out, like a lot of people said, like whether they like the story mode or not, is that it was such an anticlimactic ending. It was
Kinda
like,
was,
that's the main villain of this story, defeated by Noob Saibot out of everyone? Okay, like, honestly, Noob Saibot defeating Titan Havoc reminds me of like Cassie Cage defeating the Corrupted Shinnok. It's like, Cassie Cage is the hero? Like, she defeated like Shinnok, the freaking fallen elder god? Like, huh? And of course back then they really leaned on the fact it's like, oh, she has like the kryptonites for like the elder gods. She has like the green glowy powers and stuff like that. They really leaned into that. Whereas in this game it's like, because Havoc turned him evil, so he had the knowledge of Havoc, and that's why he was able to defeat him. Okay? It doesn't really explain. Freaking Empress Tanya defeated you, Noob Saibot. It's like, really? But you get to defeat like a Titan Havoc. Like, okay, I'm gonna like change the topic here and actually talk a bit about like Titan Havoc in general. When Titan Havoc showed up in the post-credit scenes, people were like, "Oh my gosh, you're finally gonna have like the real Havoc, like the actual Havoc that we really wanted to." Well, I was thinking like, well, one, you're kind of late. I kind of wanted to have real Havoc in the base universe already, but whatever. Two, I was looking at this new Havoc and I'm just thinking they're not gonna nail it. Like they aren't. And lo and behold, he's not really great. I don't really think this Havoc was anything special. I'll give you this. He's better than the base universe Havoc. I'll give you that 100%. And I find it very funny that they actually explain this in the story mode. Liu Kang is like, so I made our Havoc fucking pathetic. Like, he actually says that in a meeting room with like Melina and like Katana. Like, he straight up is like, okay, I actually made sure our Havoc was a fucking loser and a pathetic person. And Chronica didn't make sure that their like Titan Havoc wasn't, so now like Titan Havoc becomes like a powerful being over there. I find that to be a very hilarious explanation for why like Havoc in Mortal Kombat 1 sucks ass in the plot. But this version of Havoc, this is what pisses me off. Like, he constantly has all these speeches about like, I choose to bless all with anarchy, chaos. Do you know the definition of chaos? I love chaos. Chaos for all, baby.
Yeah, that's why I was saying take a drink every time he says chaos or anarchy.
The line that pisses me off is like, he says like, you don't know the true meaning of chaos. Do you? Do you, Mr. Havoc? Do you, writers at NRS? Do you know what chaos means? Because I look at this Havoc, and all I see is a man who's like conquering worlds, having like an arena with a bunch of fights going on. You're not like the chaos like cleric you think you are. You're just another Shao Kahn. Like, that's it. What's interesting about that? And it's kind of funny because even they bring it up in the story mode. Like, Noob Saibot's like, this isn't real chaos. You only disapprove it when it's not your own version of chaos. When things don't go your way, when it actually is chaotic, you don't like that. Like, I like how they actually bring that up in the plot. But still, it doesn't mean you're clever just bringing that up in the plot, you know. It still doesn't make him like interesting, you know. This is just another generic big boss like type villain. Okay, I would say some things I like about him. There are some things about his personality that I do like about, like, when he's in the arena, like he actually like broadcasts and entertains like the crowds and stuff. Like, that's entertaining. I actually thought at the end when he starts pulling off his arms and having multiple versions of Titan Havoc, I like that. That was a cool move. That was like, oh my gosh, this actually seems like a very scary move from this guy. But the issue is, this isn't some like chaos cleric guy. He really is just like a conqueror. And like, that's it. He's just like an evil guy. a thing that blows my mind is there still hasn't been a good depiction of Havoc since his original debut. His original debut, what makes Havoc interesting is he's a wild card. He's unpredictable. You don't understand him. His entire motive is just to be random. Like, if I were depicting Havoc in like this modern day timeline, I would have it be like maybe he works for the bad guys, but then all of a sudden he literally goes to the good guys group and starts helping them like fight the villains. When things don't go his way, he laughs, and when things go his way, he gets really sad and starts crying and stuff because chaos. Like, that's like what I wanted to see with this guy. I wanted to see unpredictability, but it felt super fucking predictable. It's lame. It just felt very underwhelming with how they developed Titan Havoc. Anyways, they defeat Titan Havoc. Noob Saibot pulls off all of his limbs, which I'm just like, oh no. Well, you know, he's Havoc, so he's gonna grow them back, right? He's gonna just grow them back, right?
Right.
He's not gonna just get defeated like that, right? Yes, he got defeated like that. Son of a bitch. And then Noob Saibot's like, okay, time to finish off this asshole who's terrorized and conquered our realm. We gotta kill him, we gotta stop him. And Liu Kang's like, we should not kill Titan Havoc because if we kill Titan Havoc, it might erase an entire timeline. Oh, now you start to care about that shit, huh, Liu Kang? Now all of a sudden you're like on the moral high ground, caring about like this shit. When you fucking killed Shang Tsung and Titan Shang Tsung and Titan Quan Chi in the last game, you just erased them from reality. You're like, oh, well, you know what? This reality is beyond saving. You fuck millions of people, am I right? But no, Titan Havoc, the reality with all these crazy denizens and all these crazy things, and basically no freaking character from that timeline has been shown on screen being innocent or a good guy. Now we gotta care about these guys. We gotta care about all the people who showed up in like background characters in the night market apparently.
Yeah, I remember somebody else pointing that out. That why didn't he seem to care about that with Titan Shang Tsung and Titan Quan Chi? That's a good point.
Okay, my explanation for this is by killing Titan Havoc, you kill off World War II Johnny Cage and Empress Tanya. That's my guess if they want us to care, but they never explain that, so I assume that's not the case.
Yeah, well, they're not even a part of that realm, right? That their timeline, so why would they get erased?
Even in like Invasions mode, the story in there, like you constantly see like a lot of these like Titan versions of these characters like die and get killed off. Liu Kang's like, kill off these invaders and stuff like that. But no, in this specific instance, all of a sudden, all of these Titan characters can't be killed. Like, okay, sure. And so Geras time stops Noob Saibot from like attacking Liu Kang, which I'm just thinking like, yeah, this motherfucker was the guy who defeated Titan Havoc. You know what, another thing I'm gonna complain about this now. Ever since Mortal Kombat introduced like the concept of Titans, thanks to Mortal Kombat 11, and they really went hard on that shit in Mortal Kombat 1's ending, you know, the Titan battles. I don't like the concept of Titans, but man, Mortal Kombat 1 really made me hate this concept of Titans, because Titans are supposed to be the gods. Like, they're above the gods, like they're above Elder God status. Like, they're supposed to be these creators of the universe. They have the power to literally probably destroy like planets. It's like Liu Kang had a fatality where he just summons a black hole and throws you into it, you know? Like, this is the power scale we are looking at for Titans. Then you go into the expansion and you see Titan Havoc just pull out a bat and just swing and smack Liu Kang with it. Liu Kang, the guy who created the universe, gets smacked by a baseball bat. Titan Havoc, the guy who created his universe, gets defeated by Noob Saibot. I really do not like Titan as a concept because they are either the most overpowered fucking beings in the universe, or they're just guys who can be defeated by Noob Saibot. And Noob Saibot gets like time stopped by Geras and defeated by Empress Tanya. So the power scaling is like all over the fucking place.
Yeah.
You know? That's it. That's the end of the story. We then cut to like freaking Noob Saibot being put in like a coffin, and Liu Kang's like, I'm gonna heal him. Wink, wink. I totally don't do anything with him. Which, here's a really funny thing, by the way. We see Noob Saibot like faceless in the coffin, and he's like bald in there. However, there's a gear piece where you can actually have Noob Saibot have Sub-Zero's like hair and like mask-ish, and so it's kind of like, for some reason he has a gear piece with hair, yet in that coffin he doesn't have hair. So I just find it very funny that we can get a bald version of him and a version of him with hair. And it's like, that's it, that was the ending. Roll credits, just like that. I'm like, this can't be it. Like, really? That was it? Yeah, I was very disappointed with that ending. That was really anticlimactic. There's a little bit more. Oh yeah, there's also like, Cyrax joins the shit out of you. It's like Scorpion is finally starting to be able to forgive him.
Yeah, there. I looked at Steam reviews of the DLC, and one of the dislike reviews was it was just one sentence that said, "What the hell was that ending?"
You know? I'm hoping that, you know, maybe Scorpion can also fucking apologize, but he's not going to, because he's he's flawless. He's perfect. There's a little bit more after the story, which is thanks to the arcade endings. Cyrex just doesn't matter. Sector goes on a mission to retrieve, like, I think it's Shinnok's amulet in the Temple of Elements, and then she finds out that Noob Saibot has been kept there, and Liu Kang just completely didn't care about him. He claims he needs research, but Sector is like, "You left him there to rot, Liu Kang. Fuck you." She saves Bihan, and now Bihan's back at the Lin Kuei, and now they're back to their evil shenanigans. Yay. That's the expansion. Wow, I ranted for actually a long time now I'm looking at it. Holy crap. My bad, guys. My bad.
That's fine, that's fine.
I feel like I didn't even go through everything I really wanted to talk about, you know, like even like some of the funny things.
I was gonna say backup and they're all like screwed. Spear toss! Oh my gosh! I don't know why that's so funny.
The thing is, even after I've complained this much about the expansion, I'm contemplating whether or not I feel like this is the fucking worst thing Mortal Kombat has ever made, or if this whole thing was just okay. And the reason why I say that is because not a lot of these things that happen in the story are like big, major, life-changing things that like before. Like I do not like time travel shenanigans in Mortal Kombat 11 or the multiverse things they like expanded upon or like introduced in Mortal Kombat 1. But in this story mode, there isn't like this gigantic like oh shit moment that changes the entire universe like they do in previous games. It's way more docile if I'm to compare it to like previous Mortal Kombat games. In fact, here's why I'm hesitating calling this like a very, very, very bad story mode. In fact, I've even noticed like there's even people who like this story mode, and I think the main reason is because this is just a simple adventure journey story where you're just following like Sector Cyrex and the gang and see them handle things. I don't even think there's too much to complain about like that aspect of the story. You know, it's just a simple journey. I personally found that part to be, believe it or not, kind of boring sometimes. But
Yeah.
I don't really have any issues with that part too. At least that's where I can see like this being more of an okay story mode. Okay, let me talk about Mortal Kombat 11 here. Mortal Kombat 11 has a lot of things I hate about it. It has a lot of like bad stuff in it, but even when good things are happening, even when there's no mistakes on screen happening, even though it's like there are like good like character interactions going on, I don't feel really anything for the characters or like the scenes in general. It's like I can look at a scene and be like, okay, that was fine, you know. Like I think Sonya Blade's death in Chapter 1 was actually handled really well, but like I'm not emotionally attached to these characters. I don't feel really anything.
Well, I kind of disagree with that. I did feel for a lot of them. But I don't know, that's just me.
Substantial.
Everybody's
like,
different.
Even the parts that are supposed to be good, I don't feel anything really. And that's how I feel about this DLC. It's like this Cyrex moment is good, like this character moment is like good, like this part is like okay,
I will say,
but
yeah, I will say though, I agree. I didn't really feel. Oh God, excuse me. I didn't really feel too much, aside from like the rain part. Yeah, didn't really feel too much in this DLC.
I don't really feel any special attachments to it. Like I don't really care that much, if that makes any sense. But like me not caring doesn't mean it's bad, and that's why I'm contemplating with myself if I thought this was just a mid story or if this was a bad story mode.
I'll
I would
say
say
it's
this,
mid.
though, funny enough, I've seen a lot of people bringing up Aftermath now. People saying like, because they're both like the expansion DLC, and many people talking about how much they prefer Aftermath story mode. And the thing is, I would not hesitate to say that Aftermath is a worse story mode, but I also feel like I'd rather play Aftermath because there are actually things in that story mode that were so much more entertaining and so much like better.
True.
Even though like the bad things in Aftermath were fucking horrendous. Like they were fucking But like Kari Hiroyuki was great. I like the gang.
Yeah.
There are some moments I want to relive, and even like again, even like the bad parts, I want to be entertained. Like I want to see like Shao Kahn and Sindel going on there like this power couple like blast through these like hero characters like mwahaha. It's so entertaining. It's bad, but I'm enjoying that a lot. Whereas this DLC is just a lot of like littling, like like kind of stuff going around it, and then some things that I'm just like tremendously hating it. I need to give it time, but if I'm not gonna predict it myself, this might be the worst Mortal Kombat story mode ever. Might, but I don't think so, at least right now. I still think like Mortal Kombat 11, like Chronica Shenanigans is worse, but I do need to give myself some time to like contemplate this. Also, if any of you are wondering, of course I'm going to be making a subs video about this like expansion. However, just like I said earlier, I feel like this was a lot more like more middling, so I might not go through like every chapter like I do for like Mortal Kombat 1 story mode. I might just make a one big video talking about Chaos Reigns. I think I'm gonna do something like that. I have a lot to say, but I also don't think I have enough to say to the point where I need to make 4 videos talking about every single chapter. Here's my final review, like my quotes for how I feel about this entire expansion in general. Chaos Reigns was surprisingly tame.
Yeah.
Put that on a magazine. I feel like this is like a balance between like 2 sides of the story. You got one side that's talking about like the Lin Kuei shenanigans, and then you got the other side that's talking about like the Titan Havoc invasion shenanigans. And I feel like both of these should have been their own story. Like, I feel like if you remove everything related to Titan Havoc, everything related to like the multiverse over there, and just focus on Sector and Cyrex going on a mission to retrieve Bihan. Maybe Bihan was captured in Temple Element. Actually, that's interesting. There are some intra-dialogues that kind of imply like Shang Tsung and Quan Chi were like involved in some way, and it's like, we captured like Sector, we captured Bihan. So like, let's imagine it's like somehow Shang Tsung and Quan Chi captured Bihan and threw him into the Temple like Element, and Sector and Cyrex are on a little journey mission to go retrieve Bihan. And the plot is somewhat similar, but it's just this plot. I think it would have worked way better if you scaled the story smaller and told a story like this and made a journey like this and made it just focus on Sector and Cyrex. I think that would have been way cooler. But because like it's the Titan Havoc, the multiverse shenanigans, so they got to make a big deal out of it. And the funny thing is, it's the story is kind of small scaled. It's just like a journey, and at the end they fight Titan Havoc. But even then, it's not as big of a deal as compared to like the epic ending of Mortal Kombat 1. Like Mortal Kombat 1's ending, the Mortal Kombat 1's like 4th half of that game was absolute dog shit. But I can't deny of how entertaining and how grandiose that last chapter was. And in here, it just felt like nothing. So why not make it like a much more smaller scale story and remove the multiverse stuff and just make a Sector and Cyrex? On the other hand, if you wanted to do a Titan Havoc story, then go all out. Go fucking crazy. Go bombastic. Make it as epic as the ending of Chapter 15 of Mortal Kombat 1. But they didn't. And so it felt very tame. And I think that is like one of my biggest issues with this whole story in general. It was an idea that was too big, yet the execution was so mid. And the thing is, in Mortal Kombat X, I find that story to also be pretty tame. But like, the stakes and everything was all in Earthrealm. It was just like Shinnok. So I think that worked way better. Whereas here it's like a Titan, a status above Elder God, like a whole entire like Chaos realm, Chaos world. Yeah. But it was so small scale. And I think that's my biggest issue with it. That's like one big issue of it. I don't know if that's like biggest issue with it, but that's like maybe that is my biggest issue with it. I don't know. Fighting was my biggest issue, honestly. That's about all I can think of. There's a fuck ton more that I can talk about. I can go into the gritty detail about every single chapter, but I think I'm gonna call it for now. Again, it's only been like 24 hours since I've beaten story mode. I'm sure I'm gonna have more opinions about this, and I will release my initial reaction and gameplay most likely next week-ish. I'm gonna be talking about more about the story mode on the Combat Kings podcast, which that will be happening next week. I'm very excited to hear what the Force Snake and True Underdog have to say about this. And yep, that's all I got to say. Thank you all so much for watching, and chaos is a ladder.
Alright, I think I pretty much, for the most part, agree. Hello?
Reptile getting punched in the groin was the best thing to happen in the story mode.
A little squeak toy noise. Oh, that's funny. Okay, so, as I was saying, Yeah, I think my final verdict on it was mid. I will call it mid because it was all right. It had some fun parts, had some enjoyable parts, but overall, inconsistencies in the writing, some kind of poor writing, and like he said, for something called Chaos Reigns, it didn't go far enough. It wasn't crazy enough. So yeah, mid is my final verdict on it, and it is not worth $50. All right. It was SonicHaXD. This is the Chaos Reigns ending was eh eh. um and yeah, when he makes his actual sucks video for it, we'll react to that too. Um uh yeah, I'll leave his channel in the description. Uh so you can go check his stuff out. Uh Other than that, you know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe. Definitely comment because it helps out with the algorithm. Um, I have a Discord. I have a Twitch. The links will be in the description. Join us. And Discord's the best way you'll know when I go live. Um, but that's about it. Love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.